I think I'm starting to figure out what causes burnout and how to fix it. I had someone comment on one of my videos last week, and he said, "How do I know if I'm burnt out?" I imagine he was talking about in a fitness running context, but I think this applies to general life. And I have a story about when I got burnt out, excuse me, when I got burnt out, and then I want to talk about what I've done to fix that. And I don't think burnout is what people think it is, if that makes sense. In the sense of like burnout is when you do too much. Now, here's the thing. I do believe there's an element of doing too much, but we have to talk about this, and I'm going to give an example of what happened when I got burnt out one time. When I started running very consistently, I gave it everything. I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, people like that, where it was just the basketball was the most important thing, and they sacrificed all this stuff and weren't around at family events and missed friend things, right? And you can look at it however you want, but I thought that was epic that they did something and had to sacrifice so much to get to a point where they had more, when they had their name for them, have a name for themselves, when they had so much money they could provide for the people around them. And so I started getting into running more consistently about 5 years ago, or really kind of around when COVID happened. And I was just giving it everything, and I wasn't necessarily missing family things. I just was like at those events, leaving early, couldn't wait to get home to go to bed so I could run in the morning. Like I was just excited about running. I was passionate. I thought I wanted to be the person who was like an equivalent to Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, but with running. And so that led me to do a lot of things. I ran a sub 3 hour marathon at my first official marathon race. I ran 3 100-mile races in about 3 years. I set a 50-mile course record. I had a running streak for 933 days. I ran 10 marathons in 10 days in that same time period, like over that 3-year period. And I just felt like I was on top of the world. I was only getting better. I was only winning more and more races. And then I eventually got punched in the face, kind of. I went and did this. I went and did Zion 100-mile race. I did not run as fast as I thought I was. I was destroyed at mile 30. I think part of that was the lack of downhill training. But the point being, I was broken and I wasn't performing like I did at the previous 100-mile race or the previous 50-mile race. Then I did 50K, and it was one of the most painful races of my life. And I've done over 30 50Ks. So I was kind of surprised at how much that affected me. And then what started to happen is I was sleeping 15 hours on the weekends, like Saturday 15 hours, Sunday 15 hours. If it was in the middle of the work week, I was needing to use my lunch break for naps. I was getting incredibly tired. And whether it was a dopamine dysfunction or I obviously sometimes you could fry out your dopamine receptors. Maybe it was something like that. But maybe I was actually pushing myself too far. I ended my streak because a 2 mile run at a 10-minute mile average pace was just brutal and miserable. And I've ran a half marathon that was under 6 minute. Well, it was basically 6 minute average per mile. So I can be fast, and I was proving to myself that I was good. And I just realized I'd hit kind of one of those breaking points. I was burnt out, and I do believe an element of that was that I had done too much. So I'll give it that. I do believe there could be an element of doing too much and getting burnt out. But here's what I actually think burnout is. I think burnout is a misalignment with you and your goals or what you're pursuing, or just that, a not following your purpose, or maybe having a purpose that's inappropriate, one that isn't the highest version of what your purpose could be, I think is what I'm getting at. Because during that time frame, as I started winning races, I was getting excited, and I just wanted to keep grinding. I wanted 150-mile weeks in my training blocks. I wanted to do 3 speed sessions a week. And the funny thing is I wasn't getting injured. I wasn't breaking or tearing anything. I didn't have shin splints. I was just hitting this fitness that was insane to me. I still don't feel like I'm that fit, even though I'm definitely back into it, and I'm running a lot right now. So it was just a different space. And then because of that burnout, I had to take a lot of time to reflect. And I wasn't running or training as much. I was in the gym a little bit, doing some yoga. And I started to think about how much a lot of my pursuit was ego, and how much it was about winning. And don't get me wrong, I want to win. I want to race competitively. I want to crush people in my races. That's a fun part of racing, though it's not the most important thing. And so here's the other part of it is I was just not present. I think that's what it was. So sure, maybe I did too much. Like I was obviously doing a lot with running. I think what happened is I was not aligned with the higher purpose. I was not present. I was at those family dinners and waiting for them to be over. I was I would work out 2 or 3 hours a day and then still feel like it wasn't enough. Opposed to just being like, that was my plan. That's enough. Like be happy, be present. And so as I started to work through this, yes, I took some time off. I didn't run a whole lot over the course of a couple months. But what I really started doing was evaluating what was important to me and what I should focus on and how important running was to me. Like I actually questioned if it was just kind of a phase. And what I realized is I just needed to enjoy the process more. I needed to think less about the goals and less about winning. And it's such a cliche because all these people in interviews or podcasts or when they win races or Olympic gold medals, they say very similar things a lot of the times of like, enjoy the process and it's not about winning. And I knew that while I was winning because I really do genuinely love running. There was some misalignment with the highest version of myself that I could possibly be. And I believe one of the key things was I was not being present. So again, yeah, maybe I did too much. Obviously, I was running crazy. Like I did a 212-mile week one time. I was just running a ton. I was running a lot. I ran a 100-mile race, won it, and then ran a half marathon the next day. I was doing a lot to my body. The thing is, though, I was taking care of it. I was stretching a lot. I was doing strength training. I was eating a lot, staying hydrated. So I guess I just don't like the burnout idea of you're just doing too much because I feel like that's limiting, and I guess you have to evaluate that individually. So to the guy who commented, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and figure that out for yourself. But I would ask yourself, are you misaligned with anything? Are you pursuing a purpose that is the highest version of that, right? Because winning races is not my highest purpose, even if it's something I enjoy and I want to keep pursuing. A higher purpose and a better purpose for me is being present and being available for my family and not being too exhausted to be able to hang out or be there for my sisters or brother or parents, my friends, my work. I want to be balanced, but not in this easy work-life balance. I just want to go all the way with being the best family member, making a lot of money, and running really hard and training really hard and doing well when it comes to fitness and racing specifically. So I'd ask yourself if you're misaligned. The last thing I'll say on burnout is I do think there's an element of you get burnout when you're not making progress, when you're not hitting your goals, because it's really easy to be burnt out when you're not getting anything, you're not getting outcomes, you don't see progress. And so two ways to look at that is maybe you're doing something wrong so you're not getting the progress that you want. For example, you're not getting faster as a runner. Maybe you have to look at different training philosophies or start strength training or work on your nutrition, right? Because maybe you're not doing the right things to get to your goal. So yeah, I would be burned out too if I wasn't progressing for sure. Or you move the goalpost. You change what the goal is, because then you set up a goal that you can accomplish. For me, I'm still going to run, but instead of thinking about winning all the time, I'm going to think about trying to be present in my races more, present in my training, continuing to be a student. Winning is definitely there, but it's not the thing I think about the most anymore. It's about how can I be more present, how can I enjoy it more. And I think I moved that goalpost. I didn't change my strategies per se. I still trained very similar to when I was just crushing everything. Oh, my dog's about to knock over a light. We'll see if it falls. Anyways, what a puppy. He's a cutie. But I moved the goalpost so that I felt I found something that was more achievable. So then I wasn't getting burnt out, right? Because if I didn't win every race, well, then I'd get burnt out because the goal is to win, and that's the highest purpose, at least at that period of time in my life. So now it's about more presence and trying to be better that way. So hopefully that makes sense. I think burnout is something I need to think about a lot more. Just to the guy who commented, or if you're watching this, I would ask if you're really pursuing your highest purpose, because you're going to be burnt out if it's misaligned. And maybe you're doing too much, but dial it back and take some time to reflect. I believe we can do much more than we think we can. So I hate the perspective of you're doing too much, I don't think it's are you doing too much? It's what can you do, or how can you handle all those things you're doing? And I'm going to continue to pursue greatness and go harder and learn more, make more money and run faster. And I don't want to have this limited mindset of I'm doing too much. I look more at what's the goal? I'm going to be burnt out if I'm not making progress towards the goal. Or I'm not present. I'm focusing on other things, and I'm going to be burnt out. I think a lot of people would be if they were not present. And anyways, it's a big problem, and I know it's been a big problem for me. So obviously that period of burnout, I think, led to now realizing I need to be more present, and there's other goals to pursue more, like, fully. So I'm more than just a runner, obviously. So hopefully you get something out of that. I hope that helps, man. I appreciate. There's the light. My dog just knocked it over. I'm not editing it. That's fine. Yeah, it's hopefully that helps you with trying to figure out if you're burnt out or not. I think that it's only you can tell yourself that. And only I could tell myself that when I was in that period of time. So I wish you luck, man. I hope you figure it out. And feel free to comment or ask more questions. And maybe there's something I can do that helps. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. This channel is really about running. I'm trying to help people learn from my mistakes and deepen their relationship with running. And ultimately, running literally saved my life. So if there's something I can say that's helpful for you, that's all I could ask for. So, I mean, with that being said, I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.